Right, so it's the 10th of April and we've been lambing for, well, since Monday, about 5 days, 6 days. And I'm just going to go for the first walk around the field this morning. It's a little bit chilly, 3 degrees, maybe 4, but the wind is quite strong. This field's sheltered though, under this hedge. That's why we lamb here. It's dry, sun's up, but has been cold the last week. So we're going to see what's happened overnight, and it looks like this one's a fresh one. She's got 2 and she looks pretty happy with them. There were a few up here that still had lambs, or had lambs already. So this one had already lambed. This one lambed yesterday, so we left her here overnight. There's a couple others here as well. We had a busy day yesterday, so we didn't get to bringing them all down. Right, so here's a twin. That one was born yesterday. And a single. This hedge faces east, and we have got cold east wind today, so the wind is blowing straight up across the field. It is sheltered over on the south side of the field, but this side. Hello, who are you? That's a new one. You only got one. Looks like it. Hello. How are you? Yeah. You look happy. Why'd you only have one though? 2 really, we wanted. Never mind. We've had a few more singles this year than we'd like, but I think we're still up on more twins than we are on singles. So I've got all the ewes here now. Well, all the ones that haven't lambed so far, they were all here, including the ewe lambs. And I think, looking at them, we haven't scanned them, but it looks like there's one ewe that's not looking like she's in lamb, and there's a few of the ewe lambs, but usually we get about 50% on the ewe lambs. So yeah, not a lot happened overnight. Looks like a twin and a single born. So not much to report, and now we've only got 80 and they've got, well, there's 65 ewes and 15 ewe lambs, so the ewes have got about 18 days to lamb, so I think we've had around 12 or 15 so far, so 3 or 4 days about right. There we go. Sorry little look in the polytunnel, and all my tomatoes are gone. Last weekend we had a -2 or 3, and yeah, I'm not sure they're going to recover. Or everything green is gone. I think the chicken has got in there and scraped about a bit as well. I need to get these chickens out really. This bird flu is not doing us any favours at the moment, but nor did the frost. I've got a few more coming, but I just got caught. I got too excited with the warm weather and put them out. There we go, lesson learned, but I had to get them out. I put them in early, so I've got some later ones coming. It's a gamble, but you know, if we don't plant them, we don't get them anyway, so worth taking, I suppose. So the bees aren't flying yet. It's only about 8 o'clock in the morning, but they will in a minute. Hopefully it's going to warm up to, well, it's supposed to warm up to about 10 degrees centigrade a day. It's probably 3, 4 at the moment. And this is the hive on the scales. I've just rebalanced it just now, so it's just balanced. And I've had to add, here's my chart, so 2.2 litres, which is the same as kilos. And obviously there you go, I've been doing it since the end of November. Not regularly, but every 2 weeks roughly. That was when the first pollen came in on the 14th of March, and then they lost a bit of weight over the next week, 10 days, and then the weather went really nice and warm for a week, and they put on 4.2 kilos up to the 30th of March, and now in the last 10-12 days they've lost 2.2. So I don't need to look in them. I did look in them, I don't know what day it was it might have been the 30th or a few days before that, I think, and they did have nectar coming in, and I haven't looked inside any hive since then. It's been too cold, but I know from this one that they have not lost that 4 kilos they put on, so they've only lost half of that. So I know I don't need to panic and worry about them starving if my theory is correct. Obviously I might be wrong, but they've still got 2 kilos more in there than what they had in the middle of March, so let's hope it's food that they can eat and use. So the blackthorn is starting to flower. This is the north facing hedge, so it's probably the furthest behind. There's a couple of blackthorns on the eastern hedges which are right out, but they're not spectacular, and this whole hedge should be white really by now, but it's just been a cold old wind the last 10 days, and they sort of don't look a lot different to what they did 10 days ago. There's my apple trees, and I cut most of the miscanthus. I left a line up the middle just for fun really, and a little bit here just to shelter the apple trees maybe from a north wind, which is rare, but we can get them, and when we do get them it hammers the apple trees, as you can see from that one, which took it in the winter. So that tree's going to need a bit of rehab. This is just a crab. This one's leafed out, and we've got pink buds coming on it. These two are cooking apples, a Bramley and a Lord Derby. Not quite to pink yet, but what I've done is I've put compost around all the trees, and then apart from that one, which I've got to deal with in a minute, or not in a minute, but at some point this year is going to have to be completely sorted out, and I've put some of the miscanthus top in, so I went over it twice with the topper, and then I managed to pick it up and I've dumped it around the trees as well as a mulch. This is my cider tree, Camelot, and it's definitely to pink stage. We had a tiny little, well, we did have a little frost yesterday, and maybe a very light one this morning, but hopefully that won't hurt it. It's not quite opened enough to hurt it, but if we get any more frost now, we're going to have problems. But I didn't get any apples last year, so it's absolutely loaded with buds. And these three in the middle, I never had much success with these, even in a good year. And so a few of my grafts, that's a graft from last year, a Camelot that I grafted on, and I don't know if it's focusing very well on the actual graft, probably not, but it's not the best one. And you can see it looks a bit dirty, and that's actually sheep dung that I rubbed on it, and I put that on. It got some sort of fungal infection on the tree, I don't know what it's called, but I rubbed some sheep dung, fresh sheep dung, still warm, over it, and it seems to have cleared it up. There you go, there's another one as well. That was a better one, that one. So it got all this growth last year, and now we actually, even on this is on the graft I put on last year. That's a Camelot on this tree. I don't know what this tree is, it never had any apples on it, but it has flowered, but I've never had any apples. And there's a few more grafts over here that took quite a while. Was also that one there, which has grown all the way out to there. And so I'm going to do a little bit more grafting maybe next week. I've got my scions ready from the good trees. So these three trees aren't very good. There's a few that graft didn't take. That one did. And again, it's grown all of that last year, so that's good. Quite pleased with that one. Although this tree is terrible, it really suffers from whatever that fungal infection we got is. So I might end up just completely taking it out and grafting something else onto that stump there. That tree doesn't even look very good. And these three trees here at the top end, these are actually nice ones. So this is my red one, Bloody Ploughman. Get some nice apples off of this one. Didn't any last year obviously because of the frost, but I think they're going to be loaded loaded with buds, but whether that means loaded with apples, we don't know. And then this one in the middle, we've got a few, not very many, but a few. And this tree is probably the best one, the pinover. So I've taken quite a lot of signs off of that one, and I'm going to graft a few more from the 3 trees that are really good. And I've also managed to get some grafts from a couple of other trees as well. One from someone's garden in the village, which I did ask permission, and they're really nice apples on that tree. So I'm going to graft a few of those. Anyway, I don't know, this mulch should keep the weeds down around them and keep the compost moist as well. And since I've got a lot of it lying around, I thought I'd use it, and I might utilise that as well around my sweet corn, thinking. But we'll see how that goes later on when I plant sweet corn, probably in a month's time. Right, this is my compost pile. This is last year's compost. It's probably about 30 cubic metres there, so it's a nice pile. I'm going to plant pumpkins. I did that last year, planted the pumpkins into my fresh compost, and then this is mostly worm cast compost, which is quite a lot older, and I've spread that out there, and I've actually planted potatoes in there, and I'm thinking watermelons as well, maybe. I haven't grown watermelons outside before, but I thought I'd give it a go. I'll put some in the polytunnel as well. And then this is a biochar that I've made this year from the hedge trimmings. I reckon there's probably a couple of cubic metres of that, which I'll mix in with the compost at some point. This is my really old compost pile, which has been there for years and years and years. I'm gradually using it away. We had loads of it when we had the cattle here, and it's gradually going away and getting less. And then this is my newest one, which I have added some of the from the old pile too, and we just add in new stuff to it all the time and turn it every couple of weeks as well. And then we'll get out of the sheep shed once I've had the pigs in there, turn it around and mix that in with it as well. So there we go, compost heaps. And this, I'll just quick look, this is my miscanthus pile. This is after it's been through the topper, it's all dried out, and quite a lot of really long stuff, but there's also a lot of really fine little bits as well. So it's just been chopped up with the topper, that's all, and then I scooped it up with the handler and piled it up there. I don't know how much is there. It doesn't weigh very heavy, but it does cover ground, and hopefully that will be good mulch. And since we are in the silage pit, I better show you some silage. And there we go, 7 bales, that's what we got left. I think did we make 13? So I've only used 6. I've used a few hay bales as well, but that's it. That's all we've used all winter. It's been a pretty mild winter. We had a fair bit of grass and I got less sheep, so I'm going to keep those over for next year, and I don't need to make any silage this year, but I will try and make some hay. Right, it's getting really windy now, but this is the stubble turnips in flower. I think I was here 12 days ago, the last time I videoed, so you can see the progression. And we've had some rain. It was really dry back then when I did that video 12 days ago. We have had rain, and this is the seeds that I just put in that weren't up at all then. And I don't know if you can see, they're coming up. I'm not sure if that's chicory, or there's red clover, chicory and ryegrass. You can never see the grass. And then I don't know, I think that's chicory. Can't really tell till the true leaves come. It could be clover. There's a little bit of weed here as well. Not looking too bad. And then out there, that bit was a later bit. And then we've got some ewes and lambs in here. They're all born in the last 6 days. They're probably mostly 4, 5 and 6 days old. And then the pigs, oh, it's going to be really windy out. I have to get one of these external microphones. So I said I was going to feed the pigs just once a day with the barley, but I gave in. They made me feel bad for them. So I'm only giving them a very small amount, but I am still feeding them twice a day. And I moved them 2 days ago. I was hoping that each section here was going to last them a week, but it's only actually lasted them 5 days. So this is where they were when we looked. They want to come through the fence, but they won't. So this is They've been out of here a week and they haven't dug it too badly actually, a little bit around the edges. This bit was already dug right up anyway, but I've re-sowed into this the same mix, Westerwolds, clover, chicory, and this was where the Westerwolds was quite long and they've raised it quite well. It's starting to regrow again already. Not so windy over here. I have already fed them this morning, but they've run out of fodder beet and they've got loads of grass here and they've been in here 2 days and that's what it looked like when I moved them out. And this is after 2 days of being in here. This is the old ark which I left sort of abandoned in the field, and they've got their nice new ark over there. Well, new, I say, that's probably 5 years old, but this one was the real old original one from years and years ago. I've used it for 5 years since I built the other one. The wind and the sow has given it a bit of a rough treatment and the ends come out, but they still seem to prefer that one. And they've spent the last 2 nights in there. And this, well, they have dug this bit a little bit more than I'd like. I wouldn't mind if they dug that bit in the middle, which is where the barley was. That's mostly wheatgrass. But here where the Westerwolds is, I didn't really want them to dig this. I just want them to graze it like they did on the last paddock. But this is what it looked like before when I put them in. So it's getting quite high now. But they are eating it and they're digging a little bit. I don't know why they're digging over here, and they didn't. And that bit there, they dug in the middle, which was fine because there was nothing really growing there, and they didn't dig that bit. But here, they seem to be digging there a little bit. But they're pigs; they'll decide to dig where they want. This bit here, I don't know what I'm going to do with this bit because the barley didn't grow. I think the rabbits ate it all, and I'm going to have to think about what I do with this bit in the middle here. And they're not going to dig it. I'm going to probably have to come in here and turn it over and reseed this middle bit. But in the next move, they're moving up into the chicory, which is growing nicely. So the next strip, they're going to get chicory. You're all happy, aren't you? Right, I think that's it for our mid-April update. So, hoping for some warmer weather next week. More spring-like, please. I guess we'll see you directly.